Hey, what is going on everyone? Welcome back to another Clash Royale video, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at a really awesome Graveyard Goblin Hut deck. And let me just say this guys, this deck was created and used by Vulkan, a really top-notch pro player, and he used this deck to get to 20 wins in the 20 wins challenge. He also has a fantastic write-up on Stats Royale, so if you guys have the time, do check out his write-up on it. I would really recommend reading through to the end. And let me just say, I don't always compliment people on their write-ups for things, but damn, this guy went all out and it is magnificent. So if you guys have the time, make sure you read that guide. It will help a lot. In the meantime, you can just pick up whatever tips and tricks I have for you all from this video, and if you would like, you can also look out for my own take on this deck as well. I'll be posting my guide whenever I have the chance, so stick around for that. Anyways, let's get right into the analysis of the deck. So, the cards that we have in this deck are the Graveyard, Goblin Hut, Poison. We've also got the Ice Wizard, Tornado, Mega Minion, Ice Golem, and last but not least, the Log. So, our deck here consists of two main win conditions. We've got the Graveyard and the Goblin Hut. Now, for the most part, you're going to be playing passively and setting up as many Goblin Huts as you can. And the reason why you're doing this is so that you can get a little bit of trickle damage every now and then. And of course, you're using a Graveyard in your deck. So if you can bait out your opponent's spells, particularly the Poison spell, which happens to hard counter Graveyard, then you can be sitting pretty high and mighty when it's time to go for that all-out counter push. Now let me just say this, Graveyard requires patience. You cannot be rushing too much unless you see your opponent make really crucial mistakes, and if they make those mistakes, know what cards they have in hand and how you're going to be dealing with it, because if you make the mistake of overcommitting just a tad bit too much, you might find yourself not being able to defend. Of course, this is the case with every deck, but in general, Graveyard requires you to be patient until you find that right moment to strike, while the iron is hot, of course. So, aside from the Graveyard being the main win condition and the Goblin Hut doing your trickle damage, we've also got cards like the Ice Wizard. Now, the Ice Wizard has seen a dramatic increase in usage and win rate ever since he got that slight damage buff, and believe me folks, he really needed it for a long time now, and ever since then he has become a little bit more popular and useful, especially in some decks such as Expo, as well as the deck you're seeing me play down below. So yeah, Ice Wizard is a really good choice right now. So you're probably wondering why I'm going against what I said before, and that is to not really rush so much with the Graveyards. But again, I am not the best player in the world, of course, and I'm not the best at dealing with decks that are really annoying, especially when I'm playing a new deck for myself here. So the Mortar matchup wasn't something I was expecting to face during this challenge, so it was a little bit frustrating and a bit of a close match if I recall as well. So anyways, Ice Wizard pairs well with the Tornado as well. Now, the Ice Wizard with the slowing factors does a really great job at slowing down enemy pushes there to give you more time to just get to another card that you may need on defense. And let me just say, Ice Wizard and Tornado is actually a really strong combo, because the Ice Wizard slows things down and you can pull things away with the Tornado. It is a really interesting option to have in hand there, because it can just buy you so much more time and just give you a little bit more flexibility to just play around with your defenses there, because you can't get much things past the Ice Wizard when they're being slowed down a lot there, and you can get another card in rotation to help defend them, and then you've got the Tornado on top to capitalize on that as well. So just keep that in mind. Ice Wizard and Tornado is really great. Also, you'll want to just take note of some placements of the Goblin Hut that I will have. Sometimes if you can just place it a little bit closer to the King Tower there in the center, you can use this to help you draw troops towards your King Tower. Now, if you are fighting a Hog Rider player and they are not aware of the optimal placements for the Hog to bypass the lower plant of the Goblin Hut that you're going to be doing there, then you can take full advantage of it. And the reason why I say this is because if you pair the Tornado with the Goblin Hut there on defense, you can actually just draw the Hog Rider close to your king and then easily pull the Hog Rider past your Goblin Hut and then get it straight towards that King Tower for the activation there. And once that King Tower is activated, of course, as we all know, will be helping you out a lot, because let's face it, this deck does not have that many troops that can deal that much damage all at once, aside from the Mega Minion really, so you've got to get all the help that you can get. Now, if you're able to use the Tornado to wake up your King Tower early, your defenses should be a little bit easier for you, especially against troops such as the Hog Rider. Then you can use the Tornado to have the King Tower awoken there, and once he's awoken, you can use the Tornado spell to pull that Hog Rider into the middle of the arena there, and once you time it and place it just right, then you can shut down a Hog Rider every single time, giving you an elixir advantage, because you're going to be spending 3 elixir every time and they're going to be spending 4, so it is a win-win for you. And I would really recommend doing this because you can get an elixir advantage, and every little bit of an elixir lead you can get over your opponents will count towards helping you win the game, because then you can just get more elixir ready to go hard at your opponent with these graveyard counter pushes. So keep that in mind there, and know when and where you can use the Tornado. Also, like I said before, Ice Wizard and Tornado is also really good. Take a look at this right now. My opponent is using a Furnace right now to distract my Ice Golem there. In the meantime, I was actually punishing his P.E.K.K.A placement there with the graveyard there. In the meantime, I'm defending with my Mega Minion, Ice Wizard, and the Goblin Hut. Because I was just playing very carefully right now, I was able to build up an elixir advantage overall. And look at this, I'm making up for my mistakes as they happen, really, because I'm able to cycle my cards really quickly and then go back on the counter push. Take a look at this right now. We've got a lot of goblins going down on the opposite lane while my opponent is distracted by the graveyard push and stuff there. So we've got damage being done on both sides of the arena. Pretty good for us overall, because we can split our damage, and even if things go out into overtime, we've also got 3 minutes extra, provided that it's a challenge, not a ladder match, because ladder matches have like 1 minute of overtime, whereas challenges have 3. So that's very important there. This deck is much better for challenges instead of ladder. However, on ladder, the win rate right now is currently around 28.33%, and the tournament win rate now is a whopping 63.16% win rate. So that is pretty darn high. So folks, I'm sure that can tell you guys that this deck is seriously powerful when it comes to tournaments and challenges overall. So give it a try when you have the chance. So like I was saying before, you can use the Ice Wizard and stuff there to get some solid defense going. Take a look at this right now. My opponent wasted lightning, but I tornadoed that P.E.K.K.A back, and then I used an Ice Column to kite it into the opposite lane. So I mitigate every bit of damage that P.E.K.K.A could have done to me there. So pretty efficient defense overall there, and I think that's about all the tips that I can give for this deck overall. So with that being said, let's just analyze the remaining fight right now. So as you can see right now, my opponent is low on elixir. We've got that poison going, as well as all of those skeletons surrounding the tower there and just dealing massive amounts of damage. So that brings us the win there and leaves us moving on to match number 3. Now this match here right now, my opponent was a pretty high ranking player if I recall correctly. I think he was between Challenger 3 and Master 1, somewhere around that there. And I will warn you, he did BM me a lot at some point there. I can't remember exactly why, but it was a close match. I kind of messed up defense overall because of an inconsistency, or I just really didn't think a playthrough, and it took me from winning the game to being close to losing the game really bad. So stick around for that. So right now we've got this Ice Golem kiting, well, not really kiting, it's really just soaking up damage for my Spear Goblins to just get free reign there. And take a look at this, we've got a poison going, but my opponent right now, he's got double spawners. Now this is a bit annoying. In my last video I would have said that spawners aren't that annoying for me to deal with. However, if you're going to be dealing with 2 spawners at once, now that would be annoying. Take a look at that beautiful log there. I killed his goblins, I got rid of the fire spirits, and I did damage to the miner. So I would say that was a really well placed log there, and now my opponent is giving me the laugh face because he knows that he can poison the Goblin Hut and the tower at the same time there. He thinks he has the edge against me, and for doing this he will be punished severely. Remember what I said early on in the guide here today, folks. I said that you can use the Goblin Hut to bait out spells such as poison, and that is exactly what happened there. And because of this, my opponent now is gonna suffer for it. He's gonna be facing the wrath of Graveyard Poison right now, and he's throwing me the laugh face, but little does he know that one little mistake there is gonna cost him basically almost all of the HP off of his tower there. So things are looking pretty good, and we have got that tower in the bag, so I think we can set up shop on the opposite side if we need to. But overall, that tower there on the right side is pretty much dead. So I toss a log there, missing that one Spear Goblin. And this right here, folks, is where trouble is going to begin for me right now. I'm going to be setting up a Goblin Hut, but I timed it very wrong. So that Mega Knight walked past it and got straight to the tower. So I was like, okay, let's make up for that. Let's pull everything towards the King Tower. But apparently, I could not do it. Whether that was just a an isolated incident of it not working, like a bug of some sort maybe, or it's just a flat out fail on my part there, I'm not sure. Most likely it's just a fail, but if you guys think that was done correctly, let me know, because if it was, that should be a problem that should be addressed. Anyways, now we've got King Tower awoken there, and that is not good news for us. As a graveyard player here in this matchup, I cannot do well against a King Tower that is awake. And now look at this, my opponent is rushing me with the Mega Knight, and he's going to be dropping that miner all the way in the back there to deal chip damage. Now this is why I like hybrid decks overall, because you can get the miner dealing damage while something is tanking for it. It's pretty annoying to deal with for some people, especially if you don't have the right cards for the matchup, but let me just say it is a good strategy to do. So whenever I post a deck that is a hybrid deck, do take note of when and where you can just try to do that same thing there, because it's a really efficient strategy and can be, like I said, very annoying to deal with. So we've got a long game ahead of us right now. I'm not kidding, this is a long match. So all of my damage right now is being done by Poison Cycle. Basically, my opponent has the upper hand. Again, like I said, he's got the Mega Knight there, tanking for the miner mostly there, but thankfully he does not reach all the way in the King's range. So the King helps out in taking out that miner there. And now we've got a long game, like I said, ahead of us. That Spear Goblin is going to be helping us a bit there by taking out most of the Furnace's HP. So thank you very much, Spear Goblin. That was very helpful of him to do, because that furnace was going to be a bit annoying for me to deal with. I didn't want to have to poison it, and so that was that there basically. I don't know why every time I drop the graveyard right now, my opponent is actually trying to defend it with his goblins and stuff. So I'm guessing he doesn't really realize that my graveyard actually doesn't do squat against him once that King Tower is awake. So whatever the case, I am fine with that. As long as he can keep making mistakes, it gives me the chance to still be able to push through and get some damage done. So we're going to be smothering both the tower, the furnace, and that Goblin Hut there. So we've got a lot of poison value there, folks. And right now we have to soak up damage with the Ice Golem once more. This time we're going to be taking out the miner with the Mega Minion, trying to avoid taking as much damage as we can right now. And look at this, his Mega Knight is just toast right now because we have the King Tower helping out. This is why I said King Towers do help out. It's just that their range is really small, so when you have the tornado and stuff handy, it does make a difference. Again, we're graveyarding right now, but the graveyard isn't going to do anything for us. That Ice Golem was horrible, to be honest. That Ice Golem was unnecessary because it wasn't going to do anything, so I really don't know why I did that there. Again, I'm probably just such a noob sometimes. I didn't know what to do. This guy had me on edge. I was just trying desperately to win this match. This match, I think, it was one of my last matches when I was getting around 10 wins or something like that. And that's basically all the progress I managed to just make before my net gave out on me. My god, the net here, it sucks. It's not that everyone else's net here sucks, it's just that my net just is really unstable. If you guys used it for like one day, you'd see exactly what I mean. But take a look at this right now. My opponent is trying to poison me out, and we throw down a log there, and together with the Ice Wizard's Ice Shard, we managed to take the win there. That was a clutch win there. And just think about it, folks. If my opponent had managed to just throw down that poison a little bit earlier, he probably would have walked away with the win, but instead he walks away with that big fat L on his forehead there. So unfortunately for him, he lost, and thankfully for us, we managed to persevere and make it to the end. So I actually did check his profile at the end of the match. He was actually around Master 1, I think. So he made some questionable plays. I mean, I played horribly as well. I can't deny that. I do make my own noobish mistakes, but I'd expect a little bit better from him. Am I right, guys? So anyways, that is gonna do it for today's video. I will get the written guide up as soon as I can, and I'll be sure to let you guys know as soon as it's published in one of my future uploads. So with that being said there, folks, just remember, if you keep on digging, you'll eventually strike gold, but even then, keep on digging deeper. You'll eventually come across something even more worth your while. So once again, everyone, thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Peace out, guys.